What up, everybody? It is Friday. You made it. Whoop, whoop. I don't have any other sound effects. That's all I got. Welcome to Coffee Hour. You made it. It's Friday. End of the week. Okay? Payday. That type of thing, you know? Get your little money symbol tattooed right there, and you can go, payday, payday. What's up? Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me here for Coffee Hour. My name is Paul Abernathy. If you happen to not know who I am, thank you for joining me. Glad to have you here on the show. I know there's other things you can do, but hold on. Let's actually get the microphone down where you can actually hear me better. How about that? Wow, I need some more of this coffee. But anyway, we made it through the day, through the week. Well, I don't think we've made it through the day yet. We still have the day we have to get through. Still one more day. But again, all right. That's we'll get through it. All right, so folks, if you've never been here before, we work through the National Electrical Code. We talk about all types of electrical issues. And I can tell you right there, most of you that are in here, that I can see you in the room. You're not new. You're used to coming every week. We appreciate you coming every week and joining us. We are, I don't know what, I don't keep track of episodes. I know that I've been doing this obviously for many years, but the new one here, the coffee hour one, which we started a couple years ago, and we did pieces of it, and it was video driven. It's just little videos. And then we started, I guess, in January of this year, where we said, look, we're going to do it Monday through Friday every morning. It gets my day started and that type of thing. Because if you read the internet, or if you read TikTok or whatever, the folks that post on there, I just started doing this yesterday, and I'm new to this, so it makes me feel young again that I don't have nearly 40 years in it. But if you read some of the young guns posts over on these social medias, they're like, "Who's this Paul Abernathy? I don't know who this Paul Abernathy is, and I don't expect anybody to know who I am. I don't really care. You either join the show or you don't." But I mean, it's hilarious to see some of these folks over on social media who, somebody creates a show somewhere, or they do a podcast or do a video, or they become what's called an influencer on social media. It means they get a bunch of people that follow them. Like that means something. I don't know. I don't get it. But then you have educators like me, Mike Holt, Ryan Jackson, Keith Laughlin, Jeff Sargent, other people that have been doing this for decades, right? And Mark Odie, amazing dude, Mark Odie. All of us that have been teaching for damn near 40 years now, I know we don't know who they are, but you'll know who somebody is that starts a channel on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and then hold them in this high esteem as this expert. It's crazy to me. I don't know. I get it. I get it. It's the generation. It's a generational thing. But I'm very thankful to the people that helped me get to where I am. Very thankful because many years ago, most people don't know this story. Many years ago, I hooked up with Mike, and Mike had me come down, and I did his Top Gun, and we formed a relationship. And we differ on many things, but I highly respect him. Same with Ryan. Ryan is an amazing educator. Vince Delacroix is an amazing educator. If you never get an opportunity to sit in on a session with Mark Odie, and Mark is aging up there, so I don't know how much he does anymore. Most of his stuff he's going to do is going to be out in the West Coast. He's in Arizona. If you ever get a chance to actually attend a real educator, somebody that's what they do, then you definitely want to attend him. Also, any of the NEMA reps, the NEMA reps are amazing. And we've got some great NEMA reps. If you get a chance to do, Brian Holland, who took over for me at NEMA, is a freaking amazing. He does an amazing job at teaching the National Electrical Code. So it was kind of funny. Now I figured I'd talk about it. You get these young people who I used to tell them, I used to be mean, and they don't like it when I'm mean. And I used to say, dude, I was teaching code when you were still swimming in your daddy's sack. I'm just, but they don't like when I say that because I hurt feelings. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of people all over the internet that teach, uh, the National Electrical Code. We're nothing special. I am absolutely nothing special when it comes to it. I just teach the code and I offer an outlet for it. And some people can resonate with it and some people don't. And that's fine. But again, it still amazes me the stuff that I see on social media and what people post and the arguments they have on social media. And my name got thrown up yesterday again. Angry shared it with me, that type of thing. And there's a young guy who's, my hat's crooked, and who, there's so many people that are instrumental in this industry that people don't know. And they were instrumental in the industry. So the problem is you get people on the social media, the younger folk, that go, I've never heard of this person or that person, like it means anything. It's incredible because I know people that were so influential in this industry. Charlie Trout, different people that I grew up with. Again, Mark Odes, who younger generation is not going to know who they are. But I guarantee you, they probably don't even know who Herb Buford is. And they don't probably know who Augustus Soares is. They barely know who Tesla is, only because they know that Elon has a car. So it's amazing to me when a younger generation like that will say something like, I don't know who this dude is or who that dude is. And that doesn't, it's kind of disrespectful to the fact that I pay extreme homage to those that helped me get to where I am in the industry. You know what I'm saying? I've got my mentor who taught me electrical, but he taught me so many other things. He left off where my dad was. I had a wonderful dad, but he was, where he left off, my mentor picked up. And I have mentored plenty of younger folks here in Virginia. A lot of contractors I mentor, and they can call me up and talk to me and know that I'll give them advice and stuff like that, because I don't want anybody to go through the bad that I might have gone through as a contractor, or I want them to go through the good. But there was all enough bad times as there was good times, and good times. I'm sorry. I love that show too. Anywho, so anyway, it's kind of one of those things that, I don't care. I think people think it's a big deal that I worry about if somebody doesn't know me. I don't care. I don't care. So I thought it was a very funny thing that gentleman would taint his page over on TikTok to have a conversation about me or what I've done in the industry, and I'm like, whatever, got better things to do than that kind of stuff. Live your own life, that type of scenario. I am happy just sitting back. I'm going to be at the NFPA meetings next month. I'm going to see friends. I don't care whether, usually I go to those events, somebody comes up to me. I hope that I blend into nowhere, okay? Because I like blending into nowhere. If I didn't sell another course tomorrow, I'm okay. I am perfectly fine. So why do I still do this? Because I love it. I love it. I can't imagine doing anything else, right? I am blessed that I still work for Encore Wire Prismium. Folks didn't know that. I'm still blessed that I can be their expert. So if you have a wiring cable or an installation application that deals with wiring cable, you contact Encore Prismium, you're going to get my response because I am their technical expert. So, and I love it. I'm so blessed that they allow me. I'm sorry, it is Friday, but you have to do your blessings every now and then. I love the fact that they allow me to do my thing, have my show, and teach people the National Electrical Code. I do not use my social media exclusively for teaching the NEC. That's another misconception. Like I post something political or I'll post something. Dude, I like to have fun too. I'm no different than you. My social media accounts are not just electrical. Let me let you know that. I could post anything on there. So when I get comments from people that say, you need to stay in your lane, you need to stay in electrical, piss off, go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? That's one beautiful thing about me is I'm one of those friends. If you have a friend, you'll have a friend for life, right? But if you don't want to associate with me, that's okay too. I am okay with that. Let's do some morning shout outs because, as always, folks, I live vicariously through you. We have a lot of people that are sending emails in and texts in about their achievements and achieving licensure. Makes me happy. Please keep doing that. All you got to do is go to paulabernathy.com. You can send them that way through the form. It's just easier. You can get there from your mobile app. It's just really simple. Or you can just email us at support, SUPPORT, at fasttracksystem.com, that type of thing. All right. I love hearing from you. I definitely do. Skyattle was the first one out of the box this morning. Good morning, sir. Glad to have you here. And he also doing the hashtag win. Dude's got it going on this morning. What's up, Craig? Nashville's in the house. It is Friday. Beatbox Friday. Okay, that's enough of that. Let me do some clicking. That's enough. Enough of that today. God, give me a headache already. What's up, JPB? Just a little, wave action going on. Yeah, I used to get on. Ain't that old, dude. Come on. I like to have fun. I enjoy it. I don't. If you ever get a chance to attend one of my seminars where I'm on a stage somewhere or I'm teaching, trust me, here's some tips. Don't sit in the back row, because those are the people I call on. Sit in the front row. Okay? A lot of people like to hide in the back. And get into it because I tell stories. I enjoy it. I make it fun. It's not just code. It's not boring. You won't go to sleep. That's the biggest thing that people used to say through the years is like, man, I got to do a continuing ed course. Or I got to do something like this. I'm going to go to sleep. You will not go to sleep in one of my trainings. I promise you that. I promise you that. What's up, Tom? Good morning. Happy Memorial Day weekend. You too, my friend. Yes, thank you to all our military men and women out there, present and the past, that served for us, that we have our freedoms. You don't realize that until you see around the world and you realize what's going on, that we sometimes, this younger generation, not always, but the younger generation forget all the people that paved the way today and the freedoms that we have. We would not have it without them. So anytime today, anytime you see somebody, thank them for the service. I heard one young guy that I thought one time, I said something to him. I said, I think I was traveling. And he was getting on a plane and I said, young man, thank you for your service. And he goes, he goes, sir, I just joined. I'm like, dude, you made that step. You made that sacrifice that if you go to war, if we have to have protection from our interests, you stepped up to the plate. And I respect that. It doesn't matter whether you didn't fight in Vietnam or World War II or World War I or whatever. Okay. Afghanistan. The fact is you made that commitment. And now we go into the military. It's a career. But you know that when called to make that ultimate sacrifice, that you will do it for all of our freedom. And again, you got to respect that type of thing. Get it? I get it. I almost went into the military, but I was going in because they were going to let me as a program where I was going to go in as a sergeant because of my electrical background. It was a special civilian program that I could have got in. But I knew right then I didn't have the discipline. Okay, I knew that I couldn't have some drill instructor yelling in my face because I was a mouthy young man. So I was like, no, I can't do that. And I didn't want somebody telling me when I can wake up, go to bed, eat, sleep, crap. You have to be special people to do that. And again, I respect that immensely. So always thank them for their service. It doesn't matter whether they've been in there one day or they've been in there for 20 years. Okay, respect the service. And again, I like to do that always. What's up, David? Thanks for coming. 3-day weekend. Here we come. That's what I'm talking about. I will be here on Monday. Okay. There's no break on me. Even though it is Memorial Day, I will be doing coffee hour. Okay. Maybe we'll do a special coffee hour or something like that. What's up, Jonathan? Thanks for being here, my friend. Let's see here. Santana's in the house. Good morning. Hashtag wins. Got it going on. What's up, Rob? Rob is in the house. Good morning. Beatbox. I've already done it. Done it. What's up, Cray Cray? My ego craps on Thursday. I don't know what that means. What's up, Titan? In the house. Thanks for joining us. Brandon, happy Friday, everybody down in Houston, Texas. Thanks for coming. Rob, melting toast. He got tired of me just calling him melting toast. So he's, got to get that name in there. Over on the Fast Tracks Tube. Thank you, Rob, for joining us. What's up, Leroy? Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you here. Let's see where we got here. Oh, there you go. Melting toast is over on the YouTube, increasing his odds there. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't no shame in that game. What's up, AJ? Glad to have you here. Good morning, Jonathan. Again, doing the multi-channel thing. Makes sense. What's up? Happy Friday to you too, David. Talked to David last week. Great conversation. Great guy. Enjoyed it very much. Remember, I'm approachable, guys. You want to ask me things, advice, whatever. I'm here. I'm always been here. Don't believe everything you hear on other channels or what people say. Take it for a grain of salt. If I offend you in any way, I didn't mean it, unless you're somebody that I mean to offend. And of course, you'll know it when I say it. Okay? I don't hide behind anything. I'm exactly what you get, whether you meet me or somewhere. So I'm an electrician. I tell that to people all the time. We used to do book signings and all, and people would love it. I'd say, dude, I'm an electrician. That's all I do. And people say, well, you teach it, Paul. You don't do it anymore. I don't understand the young people that say that. I mean, I'm in my late 50s. I work smarter, not harder. I loved the trade. I cut my teeth in it. Me and my brother had AA electric, and then I had electrical service specialist. We did a lot of work in a short amount of time. We did just about anything. We didn't care what it was because we were hungry. We were growing our business. We did commercial. We did residential. We did light commercial. We've done all types of things. We didn't shy away from anything. We had employees, and then we had where it was just us. I had employees, and I had it with just us. I've had to hire, fire. I've had a situation where I had to go out and work all day and then work all night to meet a deadline. I've had to drag my wife out to work with me to get a project done. So been there, done that. So when somebody says, those young guys that are in their 20s and 30s or whatever that say, yeah, those teachers, they can't do it. Wake up. You're going to get old one day. And if you'd rather be in the trench, my brother still does it every day. And he's in his 60s. And he's out there working hard, doing electrical every day. I decided to shift and go into teaching. But if that means that I don't know what I'm talking about, then you obviously haven't been around the show. And if I offend anybody with that, bye-bye. It's not the show for you. I'm just saying. What's up, David? Glad to have you here. What's up, John? Glad to have you here. Tom, very thankful for his vocational school teacher. I am too. Again, he was a second father to me, and I will never forget the experiences that I had with Bob Barrett. Everybody called him Robert. I called him Bob. He was like a second dad. What's up, Peter? Thanks for coming. I did notice. This is interesting, guys. I did notice I'm in Louisa County, Virginia, in case you don't know where that is. I did see they posted that they are building a new vocational school. Okay. I have offered to help them to develop their electrical program. They can choose not to. I don't want anything for it. I will help them. They don't know what they're doing. I will tell them how they need it, how to build it, how to set it up, and how to do it for free. So if you're from Louisa County and you hear this, make sure you take me up on that because I will do it for free. I will tell you exactly what you need, how to set your system up, how to do your classroom, how to set up your demo labs, your work labs, your workstations, the simulations. I will do it all for free for Louisa County. Okay, so you're building this new facility, holla, I will do it for free. It won't cost you a dime, and I will teach you and I will show you exactly what you need to do. Okay. Yes, Tom thinks of him often. I do every day think of my old instructor. And I think of my brother too, because my brother Todd was a mentor to me in a sense that I would not be in electrical. I would not have forged a career in electrical. I would have not have forged any of that without my brother Todd. I would not. I would have been doing something else. I probably would have been arrested. Probably would have been in jail somewhere. So if it wasn't for Todd, my brother, I wouldn't even be in this trade. So y'all want to shout out hashtag Todd. He's the reason I'm even here when it comes to electrical. What's up, Ronbo in the house in Tennessee? What's up, brother? Glad to have you here. Good to see you. Let's see here. I know I missed something. Hold on here. I thought I missed an announcement from somebody. Hold on. Hold on here. I know. No, I didn't. I haven't gotten there yet. Okay. Thought I saw something flash up in here. I got to make sure that what up? Tony says, ciao, bellissimo. We have Prismium. Prismium is an Italian company that I work for now, and those people are neat. The Italians are. There must be totally different in other countries when they do like vacations and time off, and family means different to Europeans. It's weird. It's different. These are great people. Andrea, who's our CEO in North America. Brian, who's he's the vice president. Brian, he's my direct report. But I talk a lot with the CEO of North America. I don't talk with the CEO in Italy. He's too big on the food chain. But the CEO of North America, Andrea, what an amazing dude. I mean, I left tomorrow. I'd still consider him a friend. He's just an amazing guy. All of them are. I was shocked when they purchased Encore Wire. I was like, okay, here we go. Where is the changes? What's going to happen? Wasn't like that. He's just a down to earth dude. What's up? Hold on.
Woo, 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 woo. Big dog.
There you go, Greg. Congratulations, everybody. Give a shout out to Greg Converse. Greg's a longtime member. And congratulations, Greg. That's North Carolina can be a tough one. I know some of the folks there. Mr. Alan Parrish, great guy who was ahead of the licensing and stuff like that. I don't know if he still is. I say great guy because I don't go in those IAEI circles anymore. I don't go to those events, so I don't know who all has come and gone. We all are aging, and so many of them are passing away and going away and things like that. So I don't follow it anymore. I don't go to those meetings. I'm not a big IAEI supporter anymore when it comes to corporate, but I support the mission. I support all the chapters, that type of thing. In fact, I think I'm coming to Florida in August to do the chapter that's up near Port St. Lucie. I think I'm going to be teaching something up there for one of their meetings. So if you're in the area, reach out to them, that type of thing, because I definitely will be coming down there. I no longer go to the Palm Beach chapters or any of the other chapters because I don't necessarily get along with the leadership and those type of things. But definitely will be going to the Port St. Lucie chapter up there. I can't remember what the name of it is. It Treasure Island or something? I can't remember. But anyway, I will definitely be going to them and doing a class with them. That's where Vince Delacroce is from. And so I got to meet those folks, so they're great. So I'm definitely going to be going down there and doing that. What's up, Alex? Outdoor Man, good morning. Glad to have you here. What's up, Jay Electric? Glad to have you in. Oh, might as well do a shout out. Shout out this morning to my boy up in Richmond, J&M Electric Services, J&M up in Richmond, Virginia. Class act, him and his wife. They run an awesome electrical contracting business up there in Richmond, Virginia. So shout out to them. What's up, Manny? Sporting the green, lime green. All right, enough of that. Okay, I could get deeper in my beatbox, but y'all are not ready for that. Y'all are not ready for all of that. Okay, maybe one day. Let's see. What's up, Red Dog?
Woo, 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 woo. Big dog.
There you go. El Monte, California. Let's get it. Let's go. Thank you for coming, my friend. Love having you here. High Voltage Hands, good morning. Just got Trade Dog, went premium. I think I saw that. You went premium with it. Okay, I hope you like it. Remember, you can always downgrade if you don't feel like you use it as much, that type of thing. But glad to have you. We're going to test Trade Hog again today because Jeff did some updates on it. So we're going to be testing it today. I'm going to ask it. We're going to do our segment where we go look at the question of the day from Nika. and we're going to be doing it that way. Also, by the way, this one may be a long one today, folks, so buckle up, because even though I'm talking all this, if you're new and you're like, dude, this guy talks too damn much, get over it. Okay, remember what I say, you know where the door is, and I'm sure all of my loyal followers here will tell you where the door is. Hashtag, if you don't like it, leave. I'm sure they'll tell you. If you're new and you're like, dude, this guy's abrasive. Oh my God, this guy's arrogant. We're just electricians, bro. You know what they say, right? So you always want to be like us. So anyway, we'll be talking hazardous locations. We're going to be finishing that up, so we'll be going through it pretty quick. Again, 30,000 foot view. We're not designed to make you an expert on hazardous locations in these last couple series that we've been doing. This is part 4. We're going very high level. That means you need to read the code. But if you have any questions, you can post them. If it's about hazardous locations, post them in the comments. And then we may go look at a picture from the Facebook page, Electricians, and just make comments on it. Again, that guy said that I am nasty. He jumped all over on TikTok. He jumped all over Angry, Sparky, who's a friend of mine. And I think Angry came to my defense, and that kind of got him upset or something like that. But he made a comment like, I worry about other educators out there. And I don't really care about other educators out there. Again, for all of us that have been doing it for 40 years, anybody that's been doing it for 10 years or less, we just call them tag-alongs. They're just doing it because they saw that they can make a business out of it, okay? It's different. You haven't put in your time yet, okay? So you will, you know. Where am I at here? All right, good morning, Val. I like Charlie. Charlie's like me. Charlie's like me. He goes, you do you, boo. What's my coffee of choice? My coffee of choice, I get the Donut House Costco K-Pods, really. But I am going to tell you something. I did a test. So we went to Costco yesterday afternoon, and I went back to my Dunkin' pods. This morning, I had a cup of coffee with the Dunkin' and a cup of coffee with the Donut House. I always used to say coffee's coffee. I get it. The connoisseurs of coffee know the difference, right? I used to say I didn't know the difference. I got to tell you, I am full of crap, because I noticed a difference. Dunkin', to me, tastes better than the flat old Donut House. And I used to think it didn't. It does, because I drank one right next to the other, right after the other, and there was much more. For me, I know there's other ones out there, artisans and real better coffees and things like that. We even have a coffee blend that we sell on our website. It's even too steep for me. Plus, it's not in K-Cup, and I only do K-Cup. I'm too lazy. I just got to do K-Cup. And I know you make those little things that you can put in there and simulate a K-Cup. I did that for years. It got messy. I didn't want to clean them, so I just went back to K-Cups. You buy them in a big box, be done with it. But trying Dunkin' right next to the donut shop, just as a generic Costco donut shop, whatever it is, Dunkin' tastes better. It has more flavor. So I'm sure there's other ones that have even more flavor than Dunkin'. I get it. It's a Dunkin', right? I don't like Starbucks. I think they're overrated, but it doesn't mean you don't buy them. Not my thing. So yeah, so Dunkin' is probably my favorite Dunkin' Donut K-Cups, but then I use a Donut House. But I got a bunch of Donut House I got to get through, so I'll drink it, right? So this one's Donut House. I already drank the Dunkin' one. So this is Donut House. So if you see me wince when I drink it, like, ugh! It's just because I got to get through about 30 K-Cups before I can go back to Dunkin'. Ooh, there we go. What's up, Angel? Glad to have you here. Good morning, Joseph. Glad to have you here from New Jersey's in the house. What is it? Jonathan says, I thought we were down with Disco Duck. I love it. I don't have a duck sound on here, but I love it. That was I can't remember who did Disco Duck. I don't know, but I love it. Are you having coffee hour Monday? Yes, I will be having coffee hour Monday. I don't take days off like that, even though I will use that day to give a shout out and a little special shout out to Memorial Day. But I'll be here. Let's see here. Catch you Monday morning. All right, my brother, get out there, make that money. Tell you what, Ron Bo's a worker, buddy. He's out there working. Get it, get it. Let's see here. What else? Morning, all, Doug. Welcome, Doug. Glad to see you here. Let's see here. Cray cray means payday. It's Thursday for me. There you go. And let's see, where are we at here? Let's see here. There you go. There's Anthony. Anthony from the IAEI in Florida here. What's up, Anthony? If that's the Anthony that I was just talking about, I was talking about Vince's. Sorry, Anthony, I didn't mention your name, but that is the only chapter I will teach at in Florida. That is the only one. That is the only one that every time I consistently went to Florida as a NEMA rep, and it was because of Vince, and I had no doubt that Anthony will keep that up the same way. That was the only chapter that showed me real love, to teach and really wanted to learn. No disrespect to the folks down in what is that one down Palm Beach and all them, but I don't think they cared whether anybody was there or not. And I don't mean to hurt any feelings, but and also the other ones, I don't think they really cared too much whether or not anybody was there or not. So anyway, I'm definitely, hopefully we'll get something worked out, Anthony, and we'll get down there for you. Rob says he's got 2 vocational education teachers, and he's still what is it? I have 2 vocational, and still to this day talk to them. Absolutely. All of my educators have all passed away, that type of thing, but I still have my brother. I talk to my brother almost daily. I can still consider him a mentor, even though now he calls me for every code issue, which he should. I mean, hell, I'm here. But what's up, Robert? Glad to have you here. But he is a mentor to me, and I've told him that in many ways that I would not be here without him. Good morning, Paul. Glad to have you here. Let's see here. There you go. Shout out to my brother. Thanks, Todd. Hashtag. There you go. Paul is on the boat fishing. Dude.
Woo, 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 woo. Big dog.
My boat's in the shop. There you go. David says it's the Treasure Coast, folks. What's up, CMECP in the house? We got David in the house, and we got Jason in the house. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. All right. There you go, Anthony. Treasure Coast. Yeah, I was talking about you. Brian Rock. Brian Rock is an amazing guy, too. I love Brian. Sometimes Brian gets in trouble with these code panels too, because again, he's like me. He doesn't always want to take the direction of NEMA or whatever. And so Brian will put some stuff out there. I love Brian. Brian's a good guy. Have not seen him lately. Have not talked to him lately. Okay. Let's David says, I was not at the Western. I will not go to IAEI chapters. I don't go to their section events. And they know the secret magic. The secret magic to getting me to one of those is they have to ask me. I'm not going to ask them. And trust me, my history with IAI, they're not going to ask me. Okay. They ain't going to come to me, and I ain't begging them, and I ain't going to them. And I don't really care to go to those things. So, okay, let's see here. I also registered for Fast Tracks 2 by 1 week ago. Just busy waiting for the upgrade. Right? Did you send me an email? Because you got to send me an email. Let me know. Let's see here. Van Man. They hate us because they ain't us. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly right. Everybody wants to talk. Rick Dees. That's it. Rick Dees. That's probably the only thing that he did was that one there. There you go. Rick Dees. There we go. Joseph, yeah, that one is active. I just don't do it. I can't remember who leads that. I can also tell you, because there is, I know I'm gonna leave somebody out that I do like down there, and I want to make sure I don't leave them out. Hold on, because I really do like them. A really nice guy. I just want to make sure I'm not leaving him out because I don't do theirs either, even though they have some people in their chapter I can't stand. God, I feel really bad. I should know him just right off the bat. I feel bad now because I feel bad. Oh man, hold on. I really feel bad. God, I really feel dude, I can't remember his name. God, he's a chief down there in Fort Lauderdale area. God, I really feel bad now. Oh, I'm sorry. He is a great guy too. God, I'm sorry. Why can't I remember his name? Jesus. Hmm. I do. I feel awful that I can't remember his name. I get like that, folks. I think my wife's Alzheimer's is rubbing off on me, but he is down in Fort Lauderdale and he kind of runs that chapter down there. Kind of is the guy. Wow. Um, mm. Oh, I'm sorry. I did remember his name. Ken Castronova. Ken Castronova, great guy, wonderful guy too. I would do something for Fort Lauderdale, okay, for his folks. Yeah. So again, Treasure Island and the one down there with King Castronova, I would do. Though they were always okay. I always got along with all those folks. Okay. I don't like some of the people on their board. Okay. Just too uppity for me. But I like Ken. I'll do anything for Ken if he wants me. That type of thing. And and anything for Vince. Now Anthony's doing it down there. Talked to him quite a few times, texts, and great guy. So yeah, those chapters I will, but it's not specifically for IAEI. I'll do it for those just because they're this good guy. Let's see here. Brian is in the chapter. He's new. Well, if you got Brian Rock, Anthony, in your chapter, then take advantage of Brian Rock. Have him teach. Have him, because he's a great guy and funny. That type of thing. I'm sorry. I know I'm missing some people, and I'm eating into our time. Brian Rock will bring it. He is incredible. Let's see here. Are you Southern Section in Tono? You can. They won't have me. I recommend it. You'll get people say we don't want Abernathy. So again, it's funny. Do that for yourself, David. Go on and recommend it and see what they say and let me know, because I got my share of haters. Trust me, even in the Southern Section, they're not big fans of Paul Abernathy. But try it, see what they say, because you and me get along. But yeah, I'd come teach something for them. But they're not going to have me down there. Me and IEI, no section things, they are not big fans of me. Okay. All right. Because I speak my mind and they don't like it. What's up, Adam? Thanks for coming. Absolutely. That is who I was talking about, David Ken. Great guy. Love him. Just a wonderful, wonderful guy. He said they won't have me. You mean Brian said that? Right? That type of thing? Yeah, well, Brian is a great guy. He's a great guy. Let's get into the lesson today, guys. Let me know shout outs. Let me know who you are, where you're from. I appreciate you. You've endured me 40 minutes now. We've been just talking. It's going to be a long one today, so already buckle up, okay? And I already can tell you this is going to be a long one. All right. Now, real quickly, let's go on and get the question of the day out of the way, and we'll let the hog answer this one. I'll answer it. Let's see if the hog is right. Okay, so this one right here says, here's the question of the day. So this is coming tomorrow. So by the way, if you folks aren't subscribed to the Nika question of the day, you should be, because it just keeps you sharp. So here's a question that came in. We won't look at yesterday's. We'll look at what the question is going to be tomorrow. That's how we'll start doing some of this, right? We'll start looking at questions and we'll answer it, all right? And oh yeah, Anthony. Yes, that's what I'm saying about IAEI. They will not have me. Okay, trust me. Nobody in corporate or in section meetings will have anything to do with Paul Abernathy. Okay, let's just say that we don't get along. All right. So, and you might surprise me if they do, but I doubt they will. They don't even know. Most of the new ones don't even know me, but they listen to the different things and that type of thing. All right. Anyway, but anyway, here we at. So let's look at this question real quick. It says, we just completed a rough-in at a commercial job that has metal water piping running through the whole building. Someone on the job asks if it needs to be bonded, and I wasn't sure. It says the pipe doesn't have the building. Wait a minute. The pipe doesn't leave the building and isn't connected to any grounding electrode that I know of. Question is, do we still need to bond it? Thanks, Jack in. Right? There we go. So that's the question, right? Then that's the Nika question. All right. So let's see. What do y'all think? So I have a building, and what it looks like is I have a metal water piping system through the building. Now remember, if you have a non-metallic water system in a building and you have just small sections that are interposed into the non-metallic, and it's just things like valves or little pieces, those little pieces do not make up a water piping system. Those are just components. And we say that because the last thing I want you to do is, look at that, 250.90-ish. Oh, well, that 90 is going to be for services, and we're talking about bonding the water lines inside, right? Not using them as any type of electrode or bonding up, that type of thing, or supply side or service bonding. Here, we're just talking about bonding the water lines. So that may be, again, another hint where we're at. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that we have little pieces, and we do not want people spidering out jumpers, bonding jumpers everywhere, trying to bond all these damn little metal components. So that's really important to understand what constitutes a water piping system versus what constitutes little pieces or little metal pieces, right, that are superimposed into the system. Big difference, okay? So in this question, they have defined that they have a water piping system, right? And that's what they've got. So when we think of the NEC, remember, we have the bonding requirements. And one of the biggest bonding requirements, Charlie says, I'm close enough, is, there you go, David, is that we think of the bonding of things, water systems, things like that, is 250.104. We think of that scenario, right? So if we go to look at the NEC, and I'll go to this view because this allows us to stay with the comments. There you go, David. David's cracking that book open. So let's go here. So to answer this question, we'll go and we'll see if the trade hog gets it right. Notice I'm going to do me first, and then I'm going to let the trade hog find it because I want to keep testing the trade hog. I think many of you are finding out that's a trade hog, especially for inspections and writing reports and home inspectors and in the field. And it's amazing because it also can rewrite things to sound more professional, to go on an invoice or a bill or whatever. And it adds the technical elements to it. I have more and more people using trade hog for that. So that's awesome. I never really thought about that. But they're doing it. All right, so there we go. So 250, so here you see it says bonding of piping systems and exposed structural members, okay? All right, so let's see it. So here we go. So metal water piping, very first one. It says, all right, 250.104, okay? It says the metal water piping system shall be, mandatory language, right? Mandatory language. As required in 250.104 A1, A2, or A3. Okay, so A1 is the water piping general, okay? Then A2 is the bonding when you have multiple occupancies and you have the water piping system in there, how to do that. And then, of course, you have building structures that are supplied by feeders or branch circuits. So we cover it all. So you have your main building. You have a building that has multiple occupancies and may have water lines that running through all of it. And then, of course, you have the one where you have to bond the water lines where a feeder or branch circuit is supplying a separate structure, right? And in that scenario, if you have the metal water piping, you get all of the rules right here. So they're all nice and tidy. So if you're on an exam and you get something about the water piping system, right, that's in a building, and you're not thinking about electrode because that's different. Okay, we're not talking about 250.52A1 water pipe electrode that is 10 feet in contact with the earth. This is in the building or on the building. So it can be in it or it can be running along the side of the building, on the building. You're going to have to bond it, okay? Most of the time we don't think about that today because most of the stuff we probably do is PVC or PEX or something like that. But if you have copper and you have that type of running water pipe, metal water piping system, I can't imagine we use galvanized anymore, but if they do, it's running through the building or on the building. All right, then you've got these rules, right? So here's what it says. General. Metal water piping systems. Very important word right here. That whole statement that I highlighted is very important because you could have, again, a PVC piping system with one, say, a valve that's metal and have an inspector say, that's metal. I need you to bond it. No, it is not the metal water piping system. That is one small component. We're bonding the system, not the individual component, okay? And don't get that confused with the other things that you have to do when you're up in 680 for pools, spas, and hot tubs, right? Remember, chapters 1 through 4 are required in general. 5, 6, and 7 can supplement and modify anything in chapters 1 through 7, right? So again, you have things that will change in other chapters of the NEC. But in 250, there you go, right there. And so it says the metal water piping systems installed in or attached to the building or structure, okay? So in it or running along the outside of it, whatever, if it's attached to it or it's in it, then you have to bond it, okay? Now, where do you bond it to? Well, I can bond it to any of the following. So I go right from that water piping system, right? Now, a lot of people ask me, say, Paul, what if I have a water piping system? Okay, and it's all metal. I go, right. And it comes to a water heater. Right. And it has dielectric unions, okay? I'm going to do my McConaughey tonight. Right. Okay, just got to do it right. All right. And so if that separates the system, then you're going to have a jumper over it because then you have part of the systems that wouldn't be bonded, right? You have to bond the system. And so it may require you to have bonding jumpers in order to maintain the integrity of this bond, right? So where can I make this connection to? Well, I can go from the metal water piping system to the service equipment enclosure. Okay, wherever the service, run it over to the enclosure. And you see here, it says it can go to the enclosure of the service because the service has got the grounded conductor with a main bonding jumper connected to the enclosure. So I'm getting that allowance here. Okay. Again, do not confuse applications like this with grounding electrode conductors and things like that. This is different. Okay. This is a bonding element. All right. So you got that. I can also connect the metal water piping system to the grounded conductor at the service, so I could take it straight to the grounded neutral terminal bus, okay? Be honest with you, I could even connect it to the grounded conductor if you had an acceptable method to do that. Let's see here, next. Grounding electrode conductor, if it's of sufficient size, so in my system from the service, if I have a grounding electrode conductor going to my electrode, but the grounding electrode conductor is of sufficient size. In other words, it would be the same size that would be required for the bonding jumper to the metal water piping system. Then I could connect to the grounding electrode conductor, right? And no, it does not have to be irreversible, okay? It could be a split bolt connection, okay? Again, try to keep from intermingling the requirements for grounding electrode conductors to an electrode and all that kind of stuff. Keep them separate. That's the beautiful thing that I think about the code is even though it seems complicated and stuff jumps all over the place, once you get the flavor of it and you understand how it works, it's like a symphony, baby. You go from here to here to here and you get used to it, right? Now, in the 2029, they'll try to make it flow a little better. Hopefully it works a little bit better, puts things in a little better logical location. Yes, you're going to have to learn some new articles, some new sections, but that's okay. Okay. If it makes it dance, if it makes this thing we dance with every day a little bit better, then okay. Hashtag dance with the code. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So now it says, all right. And then the other last one says one or more grounding electrodes used. If the grounding electrode conductor or the bonding jumper to the grounding electrode is of sufficient size. So an example of this way may be you could have an electrode and then of course you have a bonding jumper that connects other electrodes together because you're required to tie them all together in 250.50, right? So as long as if I go to the last electrode in the chain, as long as everything leading up to it is equal to or greater in size of what would be required for that bonding jumper over to that metal water piping system, if it's the same size or larger, then I can go to that electrode. Okay, I can go to one of the electrodes itself. Okay, put a separate clamp on it and run it right to the electrode. That's okay too. Probably not what people are going to do. You're probably going to take it back to the service enclosure. Probably what most people are going to do. That type of thing. Okay. Notice it says right here, it says the bonding jumpers shall be installed in accordance with 250.64A, B, and E. So you got to meet these requirements. And if you don't know what they are, I'll just click on A. Okay. And this is still the requirements. For example, if you want to use aluminum, it can't be terminated within 18 inches of the earth unless it's in an enclosure that's rated for that, yada, yada, yada. And then you've got the other requirements you have to meet as well. Okay. It says the point of let's see here. The point of attachment of the bonding jumper shall be accessible. So all of those connections that you're making have to be accessible, all right, for this application, all right? It doesn't say readily accessible, it just has to be accessible, okay? It says the bonding jumpers shall be sized in accordance with 250.102C1, except that it shall not be required to be larger than a 3/0 copper or 250 kc mil aluminum. And I won't talk about that product, okay? That type of scenario, all right? So in general, we're going to size it based on the table 250.102C1, based on the size of the conductors that are supplying the circuit, okay? And so if you're taking it back to the service, typically, if we're going to bond the water line, we're going to base it on the size of the conductors that are supplying the service, okay? That type of thing. So anyway, and I don't know that they have a picture. They don't have a picture. But let's read it. Let's just read it because it's good commentary. It says, bonding a metal water piping system is not the same as using the metal water piping system as an electrode. We talked about that, okay? Bonding to the grounding electrode system places the bonded components at the same voltage level, okay? So by making all this connection back like that, it puts everything at the same level, touch potential, things like that, okay? Isolated sections of metal water piping systems such as used for plumbing fixture connections. Again, this is not me saying it, folks. This is in the link, and so it's commentary. It's the opinion of NFPA, but it's okay. It's a good opinion. I agree with it. All right. It says that are connected to an overall non-metallic water piping system are not subject to the requirements of 250.104A. Okay, the isolated sections are not a metal water piping system. They're just components, fittings, valves, things like that. You get me? Okay, they're not the system. Now, again, similar to how you size GECs in table 250.66, which remember is based on the size of the supply conductors, it's based on the same premise as that. The bonding jumpers to the metal water piping system, although are sized based on 250.102C1, which can differ, right, here. And it, again, like 250.66, it does make that statement that says that they're not required to be larger than a 3/0 copper or 250 kc mil aluminum, okay? So again, that's the largest it would have to be. So if you were like, dude, I don't want to do the math, and an engineer on a big building, big multi-building with metal water piping system in it and everywhere, and they're like, dude, I don't want to calculate this crap out. All right, so just run a 3/0 to it, okay, from the service equipment, switch gear, whatever, run a 3/0 to it, done. Never has to be larger than that, done, because of the statement in there, okay? Makes sense. All right, so let's do this real quick. Let's take this. I'm going to copy it. Okay, so let me show you. So let's take this. I'm going to copy this. Y'all got it? And we're going to put the hog to the test. Okay, so here's the hog. Let me share this screen with you. Okay, so this is the hog for all of you that don't know who the hog is. Here's the hog. We're gonna paste it into the hog. Okay, so I've got it all pasted in there, and let's see what the hog says. All right, the hog says, yes, the metal water piping system in a building must be bonded to the electrical system to ensure safety and compliance with the NEC. According to NEC 250.104A, metal water piping systems must be bonded to the service equipment enclosure, the grounded conductor at the service, the grounding electrical conductor were of sufficient size, or to one or more of the electrodes used. This requirement applies even if the piping does not leave the building or connect to the grounding electrode. The purpose of bonding is to ensure that the metal piping does not become energized and pose a shock risk. Therefore, you should ensure that the metal piping system is properly bonded in accordance with NEC 250104A.
Woo, 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 woo. Big dog.
Trade hog for the win. Hello. There we go. All right. In today's lesson, that's just an example of how you can use trade hog. Okay. All right. Let's get into today's lesson. All right. So today we're moving into hazardous locations. We're in part 4. We're going to be talking now about motor fuel dispensing. Okay. For those that are familiar with this, is Article 514. I have done only 3. Well, 2.5, because I stopped. I left the job to take another position somewhere on the 3rd one, but I've done 2 fully where we did fuel dispensing, and so I know a little bit about Article 514. But if you've never done it, this is a great opportunity for you to say, look, I don't know that much about 514. I may never do it in my career, but to be better at the code, what you do is you pick an area like 514 and you focus on it. And you say, I'm not going to leave 514 until I know everything I need to know about it. And I'm going to use Trade Hog to ask questions. I'm going to send questions into us. I'm going to hyper focus so that when you leave 514, you know 514. Of course, we're going to be talking that at a very high level. But so there's a way more that you're going to learn there than what we're going to cover. But I just want you to know that we're going to be talking about that right now. Okay, so Article 514 covers requirements applicable to motor fuel dispensing facilities, marine fuel motor dispensing facilities, motor fuel dispensing facilities located inside buildings, outside buildings, whatever, and fleet vehicle motor fuel dispensing facilities. Okay, 514.1. 1 is your general requirement. That is your charging statement, if you will. That's kind of letting us know what the scope is, what 514 is all about, that type of scenario. Okay. Let me get to 514 real quick too, so I can. So that is what the scope is, right? That we're dealing with. So that's, and it says it. 514.1 is the scope of what, and that's just paraphrasing. That's exactly what it says right there. All right. Now it says a motor fuel dispensing facility is that portion. Okay. This is important. It is that portion of the property where motor fuel is stored and dispensed from fixed equipment into fuel tanks of motor vehicles, marine craft, or into approved containers. I learned that the hard way. I think I had an unapproved container when I got my diesel fuel and I used a regular gas. And one guy said, that's not the right container for diesel. I'm like, it's gas. Come on, bruh. So, but I'm learning that it's diesel is fuel, not gas. Or anyway, it's people's sub panel. Oh, you should never say sub panel. Whatever. I was like, dude, all I know is I'm going to pour that crap in my excavator and I'm going to be digging up some dirt. That's all I know about. Okay. And of course it says including all equipment used in connection with motor fuel. Okay. So you see the picture here. You all see them. You run by them all the time. But remember, we're talking about the areas that are going to be classified is obviously if that's a gas station and we have the convenience store inside, that is not classified. It's the area dealing with the dispensing and things like that deal with the fuel, right? That's the area that we have that elevated classification. Now, you have raceways, right, that will go underground and then will come up into these areas that are unclassified, right? And then, of course, so the earth being the boundary, and you have seal-off requirements, right? And again, we're not going to, you remember what we saw the other day where it's 10 feet on either side of the entry or leaving from one location to another? Well, you're obviously not going to put those seal-offs in the ground. You wouldn't be able to get to them, right? And so seal-offs would be within 10 feet immediately as they go past that classified location. In some designs, the people put the seal-offs outside, running up the side of the building, and put the seal-offs before they transition into the building where all the controls and all are. Again, it's all dependent on how I've seen them come into the building and come up and have the seal-offs. I have seen them outside and not come into the building. Again, all based on the engineer who's designing the system, that type of thing. Or the state may be more stringent on those type of things. All right, so what we're looking at here is the fuel dispensing location. This is the pumps that are out there at the islands, right? Okay, so you see this says table. So these actually come from a table in 514, and we can go look at that real quick and show you what we're talking about. So here is your 514.3, right? And it says, again, reminds us where the term class 1 is used with respect to the zone classifications within this article of code, it shall apply. Okay, so the same requirements for class 1, okay, is going to apply as well when it makes reference to a zone 0, zone 1, or zone 2. So in your mind, if you're seeing a zone 0, zone 1, zone 2, you're still thinking this is still a class 1 deal that I'm dealing with, okay? And again, it gives you some good information on, kind of explains that down here a little bit better, okay? Because the zone 0, zone 1, zone 2 are also reference identifiers as well for gas, vapors, and liquid locations that are flammable, okay? It's just a zone system. It differs from the class and division type of layout, right? We mainly see class division. We don't see that much zone, but more and more people are using it, okay? It's very popular outside of the US, that type of thing. Okay, so here is what we're seeing, this illustration. It's in the NEC, okay? We have a little more graphic illustration, right? But you can see right here that it's saying, okay, classify the locations for these fuel dispensing, okay? So here you see it is out, okay? So it goes up to the level of, so this is all electronic, so it stops here, okay? So subgrades, here you see it, and here you see the identifier. This is in the NEC, by the way. So here you see class 1 division 2, or could be called class 1 zone 2, okay? Depending on if you're using the zoning. All right, so here, all this area out 20 feet, and you see that it goes up what? It's going to go up here, okay, up 18 inches, right? So it comes up 18 inches, right? It goes out 20 feet all around the dispenser pumps, okay? So 18 up, right? And 20 feet out, okay? All of this type of thing. And you see that it's going to go out 18 inches from the pump all the way around, okay? So, and you see here where it runs underground, where the piping system may come out and run underground. That's a below grade right down here. Then you'll see that it'll be a class 1 division 1 location. And our illustration does a little bit better job of this here. So let's go back to the lesson. So I'll boom up. So, okay, so here's your dispensing pump. I'll just zoom in on this for you. There you go, right here. So here's your dispensing pump, okay? So in this scenario right here, 18 inches out, all around, okay? All around, 20 feet out, 18 inches up from the earth. All of this area is a class 1 division 2, okay? The area below it, that 20 feet, everything below it, okay? That is class 1 division 1, okay? Any raceways that go out of here, any piping systems, anything like that, all that is all going to be class 1 division 1, okay, underneath it. So ours says within 18 inches of dispensing enclosure or that portion of the dispenser enclosure containing liquid handling components, okay, all the little pumps and hoses and whatnot, extending horizontally in all directions and down to grade level is going to be class 1 division 2 location, okay? And that is what it says in 514.3b1, okay? And I can show you that. So where you say, so we have this nice little illustration, but if you go down here, you can see that it gets down to classifications, and again, references the drawing. And there you go. And so we get down here, right here. So this is your class 1 locations, right? So you can do this, and I don't know how well this will show up. Okay, you get right here to dispenser, okay? And here is the language over here for that dispenser. So we just saw, I'll just go over here. It's real easy. It says within 18 inches of the dispenser enclosure or that portion of the dispenser enclosure containing liquid handling components extending horizontally in all directions and down to grade. So that is why we had, and it depends on your pump, but it's easy just to remember. It extends out all directions from the actual pump dispenser, and any part of the pump dispenser that's going to have anything that would handle those fuels, any of the components that fuel's going through, pumps or whatnot, hoses, whatnot, 18 inches out, all the way down to the earth and up 18 inches from the earth, okay? And it extends out what? Extends out from that. Now, let's go back to the left again. All right, so again, so that's the dispenser. That's just the dispenser. Now the outdoors. So your pump is outdoors, right? Outdoors. Okay, so that adds another element to it. So it's still division 2. It's outdoors. And that would be this one here. So that is where we get the other portion of it. It says up to 18 inches above grade level, extending 20 feet horizontally in all directions from the dispenser enclosure, right? So that is why we get this image that looks like this, okay? So again, just to be generic, because we don't know where the components are in here, right? And that's why you see in the NEC, it stops here because they saying everything stops here. But again, all depends on you, right? But it's 18 inches out, and then it's up 18 inches, okay? So 18 inches out from the dispenser all the way down to grade, and then 18 inches up out 20 feet in all directions. That type of thing. Makes sense? Okay. All right. Now, space under it. All right, so this is the B1. Okay, let's go back. Let me get back over here. Okay. All right, so there we go. So under dispenser containment. Okay. Oh, sorry. Got to go back here. Got to go back. It won't let me go back. Come on. Go back. Come on, bro. All right. Under dispenser containment, okay? Then you got over here, it's a division 1. See how that? Under dispensement container, under it. And it says, entire space within and under the dispenser pit or containment is going to be a class 1, okay? All right, so all of that type of thing. So anyway, one of the things to just think about when you're looking at, an illustration like this is 18 inches from the dispenser enclosure or that portion of the dispenser enclosure containing liquid handling components, extending horizontal in all directions down to grade is going to be a class 1 division 2. Okay, so the 18 inches out. From grade level up to a height of 18 inches within 20 feet horizontally of any enclosure edge is going to be class 1 division 2. Okay, why do you need to know that? Because you'll be transitioning underneath it, which would be a class 1 division 1 into a class 1 division 2, right? And you're going to have seal-offs that are going to be inside that dispenser, okay? That type of thing. And then, of course, it says the space within and under the dispenser enclosure is a class 1 division 1 location, and you're going to have wiring, you're going to have fuel lines coming in different directions. You're going to have other things, raceways coming in from other directions that are going to transfer down through the dispenser, underneath it, down into the space directly below it. So you need to know you're going to be going from a class 1 division 2, transitioning down into a class 1 division 1 location. And that's what we talked about in the last couple of days. It doesn't matter that it's a fuel dispensing. Get all that out of your mind. Just remember, we're talking classifications. We are talking transitions. We're talking seal-offs. We can forget that it's a motor fuel dispensing at that point because all we went here to do is find the parameters. Once we found the parameters of the locations, now we go back and follow the rules that we have when we're transitioning, for example, from a class 1 division 1 to a class 1 division 2 and those type of things. Make sense? Okay. I want to make sure it makes sense of all that type of stuff. Discussion. Discuss the hazards around motor fuel dispensing facilities and why some areas are Division 1 locations and why others are Division 2 locations. All right, let's have a discussion. The area within and under a gas dispenser is a Class 1 Division 1 location because it is likely that flammable gases will always be present. They are always going to be there, okay? Now, the area within 20 feet of the gasoline dispensing is a Class 1 Division 2 location because although flammable gases may be present, they are not usually in sufficient quantities to produce an explosion, so they're not in concentrations that are there under normal conditions. So in that scenario, we can designate it a Class 1 Division 2. Now, some people can argue and say, well, I beg to differ, Paul. I think that there will be concentrations there. They could spill it. They could do this or that. Dude, why even rack your brain over that? Why even worry about that? The code says what it is. It says, despite what you feel, doesn't matter. The code says that that area is going to be a Class 1 Division 2. Get over it. Do it. The area that says it's going to be a Class 1 Division 1, do it. Different, okay? Don't make it complicated. Doesn't have to be as complicated as some people want to make things, okay? All right, aircraft hangar. We'll go through this one pretty quickly. Article 513 applies to building and structures as part thereof inside which aircraft containing Class 1 liquids or Class 2 liquids, those temperatures exceed their flash points, are housed, stored, and serviced, repaired, or altered. It does not apply to the locations used exclusively for aircraft that do not now nor have ever contained fuel. Okay? Important. It says the area within 5 feet horizontally from aircraft power plants, okay, it's the motor, okay, power plant, or fuel tanks in a Class 1 Division 2 or Zone 2 location extending upward from the floor to a height level of 5 feet above the upper surface of wings and engine enclosures. All right, so we'll look at the illustration, okay? So you may have let's do this. You may have a service pit that's in this location, right? That would be, again, allow gases to accumulate, okay, fluids to accumulate, right? That would be a Class 1 Division 1. This area here, up to 18 inches above the floor, it would be a Class 1 Division 2, right? These areas right here around the motor, again, up to, again, all your dimensions that we just talked about, all of that's going to be a Class 1 Division 2, okay? And this goes 18 inches above the floor, covers the entire area around there, okay? And just for craps and giggles, we can go look at it because, again, just kind of putting our eyes on it. Aircraft hangars, 513. It's not very big, okay? Again, you have some examples here that you can go look at if you want, if it's still confusing to you. But what we're going to do is the classification, and this is where we got that information from, right here, okay? Again, reminds us, Class 1, it's still got the rules you have to meet. Class 1 is what it is, whether it's Zone 0, Zone 1, or Zone 2, it's still going to be a Class 1. So below floor level, that was that pit. So any pit or depression below the level of the hangar floor shall be classified as a Class 1 Division 1 or Zone 1 location that shall extend up to said floor level. Okay, so that whole pit. Now, areas not separated or ventilated. Say the entire area of the hangar, including any adjacent or communicating areas not suitably separated from the hangar, shall be classified as a Class 1 Division 2 or Zone 2 location up to the level of 18 inches above the floor. So what does that mean for us? So let me give you an example. We have an aircraft hangar for Encore Wire. Encore Wire is a corporate jet. Y'all probably seen me on videos that I posted or pictures flying on it to whatever issues we might have around the country. So there is an actual separate area, a room that is for the pilots and for all of us that wait for them to get the plane ready and things like that. That has separation. That has pressurization. Okay, so it's 18 inches up around that entire hangar is considered Class 1 Division 2. There's no pits because that's not a service area. That's just a hangar. Okay, we don't have any pits in the floor. So it is up to 18 inches Class 1 Division 2. But once you go through that area that is into the pilot's lounge or into the just the lounge area, it doesn't. It becomes an unclassified location. Okay, so this only pertains 18 inches up out in the area, that type of thing. Right now, when we talked about the vicinity right around the aircraft, that's different. So when we talk about the vicinity, that's what we're talking about right here, the vicinity of the aircraft. And that's what we were talking about around the aircraft. It says aircraft maintenance and storage hangars. Maintenance and storage. Our hangar, for example, is a storage hangar. Not necessarily where they do the maintenance. This is simply a storage hangar. It says the area within 5 feet horizontally from the aircraft power plant, the motors, the engines, okay, or aircraft fuel tanks, if they have fuel tanks in there, shall be classified as a Class 1 Division 2. Okay, so that is the aircraft. All around the aircraft, around the engine, or any of the storage. So it's kind of an enveloped thing. It wraps all the way around the storage, the storage that's in there, or also around the engine, the power plant. Okay, anything that's within 5 feet around it. Okay, Class 1 Division 2 location. All right. Even if the Class 1 Division 2 only went up 18 inches, around the engines, it extends out. Okay. All right, and it also says, shall extend upward from the floor level 5 feet above the upper surface of wings and engine enclosures. Now, there you go. So they show a good picture, right? There you go. Tom is NFPA 407. He's working up at BWI, so I guarantee you, Tom's probably all up on all those things. But here's a great example of this right here, okay? And I don't know that I can zoom in it, so you just got to kind of go with me. So see what it's doing here? So here's the engine, right? All this stuff. So all this up 5 feet. Here's the 18 inches. There's the sump pump. There you go. Up, okay, out, right? All this time. So there you go. So everywhere else is unclassified. See? But not around the engine. So here's one engine. Here's a power plant. That's out 5 feet. Here's the engine. That's 5 feet. Here's the engine. That's 5 feet. This is the engine. 5 feet. See how that all overlaps? 5 feet up, that type of thing. And there is fuel, and another misconception, there is fuel that is stored in these wings, right? So 5 feet out, okay? There you go. So you kind of see how it is. I can be honest with you, I've only been, involved in a couple designs here when it comes to this type of thing. Basically, we made it simple, stupid. We made sure that everything was Class 1, Division 2. We didn't have any pits. Everything in that hangar, we made sure up to a certain level was a Class 1 Division 2. We made it a point to put all of our switches, all of our controls, and everything inside of the actual pilot area through the glass, so you control everything from in there. Or we had some type of controls that were outside of the hangar, so when you're entering the hangar, again, we tried to make it simple because we did not know where they would put the aircraft in the hangar, because it was a big hangar. So rather, keep it simple, stupid, we kind of designed for this thing, so we always knew how we would design this out. We just made most of the areas in there Class 1, Division 2, except for up in the ceiling, obviously. We didn't have any lighter than air applications there where we had the gases that would float to the ceiling. We didn't have that scenario. So that's how we designed it. So we just erred on the side of caution, okay? Everybody designs their own, but that's what we would do. All right, so that's a good depiction of it. Now, what I don't necessarily... no, I'm okay. Let's go on. I don't know what picture that was. Okay. Next one is 515. This is bulk storage facilities, okay, where they're going to store lots of fuel in lots of tanks. So 515 covers property or portions of a property, okay, so it doesn't have to be the entire designation of the property. It can be pieces of the property that are designed for bulk storage, where flammable liquids are received by tank vessels, pipelines, tank cars, or tank vehicle, and are stored or blended in bulk for the purpose of distributing such liquids by tank vessel, pipeline, tank car, tank vehicle, portable tank, and container. We had an area of this also at Encore Wire on our campus, okay, where the train would bring in certain things, okay? So that is 515.1. That is the scope of what a bulk storage facility is, where gasoline and other volatile flammable liquids or liquefied flammable gases are dispensed at bulk stations. The appropriate provisions of Article 514 shall apply unless modified by 515, okay? So let's show you that real quickly if we go look at 515. To show you that language. Okay, so we're going to 15. And so this is the scope, right? This is the scope we're dealing with, all right? And so we've got all this stuff, and it talks about dispensing and classifications, okay? All the requirements. Here's again, it's the same thing as we had before. We don't have to look at every one of them. but it's the same scenario we were dealing with. We have the different locations of where these storage tanks will be, and then we have, it tells you what the division is, and then it'll tell you what the extent of that area. So it kind of gives you that area of classification that you have to follow. Okay, so there you go, and for example, there you go. So bulk storage, you have your different radiuses or different classifications to determine what is considered. Okay, so this is liquefied transfer lines are coming in here. Bulk storage, here you go. You have a below grade location, such as a sump that might be here. You have a division 1, then you have division 2. Okay, and here it is differently right here. Here's the fuel dispensing. Drum fill station, again, has its own requirements, right? Notice it, how it comes out. This is a drum, fuel drum dispensing, okay? This is storage. So all of these things, there you go. There's a large containers, okay? Storage tanks for cryogenic liquids, okay? Here is the area for the relief valve. It's within 5 feet of that is a class 1 division 1. And then out, and you have class 1 division. So these are not brain surgery, especially if you're on an exam. You just have to come and look at this list right here. And this list is going to tell you the location, where that bulk storage is, what zone, what division it is. Okay, so you'll already know what the level of hazard is. And then over here, it gives you the extent of that, the parameters, 3 feet out, 5 feet out, 15 feet out, all of that. So again, not brain surgery. That's why I don't typically go too detailed into it, because all you've got to do is come and follow what the table says. That's it, okay? All right, spray application, dipping, coating, and printing processing. Hey, Paul, this might be something you deal with. All right, so 516 covers the regular or frequent applications of flammable liquids, combustible liquids, and combustible powders by spray operation, I guess powder coating maybe, and the application of flammable liquids or combustible liquids at temperatures above their flash point by spraying, dipping, coating, printing, or other means. That's 516.1. That is the scope of what 516 deals with. 516 contains 5 parts, okay? Part 1 is general, going to give you the general requirements that you have to meet for this type of location. Number 2, it's going to talk about open containers that would be in this location. Part 3 is going to talk about spray application processes that are happening in this location. Part 4 is going to say spray applications, operations, and operations in membrane enclosures. And then part 5 is going to say printing, dipping, and coating processes. So 516 covers multiple applications that would be considered hazardous locations, specifically in dipping, coating, and printing type of scenarios. Okay, and the only reason I'll show you this graphic here is that you can see, just like before, it's going to give you areas within the process where is that it has the classified, like that plane, right? The plane, around the plane. Same here. You're going to have areas that are in the area where the dipping takes place, where the spraying takes place, within different things, that you're going to have certain areas and distances from certain things that are going to require at different levels, whether it's a class 1 division 1, all around the area where the dipping and all that takes place. Okay, so kind of like this area encompasses all of this, and you'll get the dimensions on that. Okay. All right, so backing up a little bit and going now. So those were all locations we were doing what? What were we talking about in all those locations? We were talking about class 1 type locations, whether it's a div 1 or div 2. That's what we were talking about. Or whether or not we were just kind of overlapping a zone 0, 1, or 2, which all are basically referenced as a class 1. So we have all those same restrictions. Now, the zoning may have some different variables on it. You're allowed to meet either, okay? But most people, again, are going to meet the zone. 1 second. Okay, no need for y'all to hear that. But now we're going to look at class 2 division 1 locations. So what are class 2 locations? Combustible dust, right? So because dusts containing magnesium or aluminum are particularly hazardous, extreme precautions are necessary to avoid ignition and explosion. So 500.5C1, informational note, for example, remember 500 gives us the broad spectrum of the different types of conditions and the different types of materials, right? So it makes it very clear that magnesium and aluminum dust is a very high level of combustibility, right? And then, of course, class 2 locations are hazardous because of the presence of that combustible dust. But again, notice 500, that's where you get the information to qualify the location and the material, right? Then you're able to go into 502 and start finding the parameters for things like seal-offs and what you need to do, okay? And wiring methods, things like that. So always remember that. 500 is the gateway. Once you establish the location in the class and the groups, then you can go into specific 501, 502, 503, things like that. Dust ignition proof. What does that mean? Okay, in Article 100, it says means equipment enclosed in a manner that excludes dust and were installed and protected in accordance with this code, the National Electrical Code, which does not permit arcs, sparks, or heat otherwise generated or liberated inside of the enclosure to ignite exterior accumulations or atmospheric suspensions of a specific dust or near the enclosure. So, dust ignition proof means that inside the enclosure, you're not going to have dust get in. You may have sparks or makes or breaks in this environment. It's not going to allow it to get in so that you don't have the volatile buildup of this material that could cause an arc explosion, and it's going to keep it from getting out. Okay? Again, does not mean dust ignition proof is adequate for use in something like a class 1 location. Absolutely not, okay? Unless it was marked suitable for both types of classes, okay? So in this case, dust ignition proof is for a class 2 location, okay? Now, that is a division. Also, remember that a division 1 means that it can this dust can be there under normal conditions at any given time. It's there, it's present in levels that could be combustible, right? Whereas a division 2 is like, it's only going to get to that level under a dangerous condition, a rupture or something like that would allow a breakdown, okay? So that's the easiest way I can tell people to remember it. If it's there all the time and the volatile potential for an explosion is there every day. It's part of the process, whatever. It's part of the making of a product. It's there all the time. Then that's a division 1. If it only can happen during an accident, a rupture, things like that, then it's going to be less. It's going to be a division 2. Okay, like that. Remember, division 2 is more stringent than division 1. Products that are rated within a class for division 1 may be acceptable in a division 2, but it doesn't always mean that a division 2 can be in a division 1. You get what I'm saying? What does Anthony says? Division 1 is one before the explosion. Division 2 is two uh-ohs. There you go. All right, let's see where we're at. No, division 2 would be, oh no, damn it. Division 1 would be like, uh-oh, boom. All right. So let's see here. So that was division 1. Division 2 says the quantity of combustible dust that is present and the adequacy of dust removal systems are factors that merit consideration in determining the classification and may result in an unclassified area. So that means that I could have a location that operates at all the time, and it's to be a division 1. It's always there under normal conditions, but I could have a division 2, which may have some type of removal system that takes it from a class 1 division 2, a class 2 division 2, to basically removes it all the way down to an unclassified area. And in an unclassified area, I can run any of the wiring methods that I want to run, okay? So sometimes people use systems that will take a class 2 division 2 and do a certain number of air exchanges or a certain type of filtration system or do something to remove the classification and take it down to a unclassified area. And why would they do that? Because then they can use standard wiring methods. Dude, if y'all have never priced the classified location products, they're expensive. right? Ask Tom. I guarantee you he's worked with it. This stuff's expensive. So it behooves a designer, right, to get it down, right? Well, I think of Division 1, you better run for your life. Division 2, you can skip a little bit. Maybe you can skip and hum, but you better go quickly, okay? All right. Bonding and grounding, again, must comply with 502.30 A and B. Now, we looked at this a couple days ago. Same concepts. It's giving you grounding and bonding requirements. It's going to end up sending you to things like 250, 102D, and all this kind of stuff, and E for jumper. It's going to send you there. But just remember the .30 within 501 and 502. Just remember in your mind that the .30s of the hazardous locations, when it comes to 501s, 502, they are grounding and bonding. And they're going to end up sending you somewhere. It's not going to go too extensive into grounding and bonding in 500s and 501s and 50. It's going to send you somewhere, okay, to give you some additional requirements for grounding and bonding. I can tell you right now, you want to make sure you follow all of your grounding and bonding rules in these locations, okay? All right. Equipment listed and marked in accordance with 506.9C2. Now, 506 we haven't talked about. And again, it's just zone requirements. So remember, zones 0, 1, and 2. In your mind, guys, think of this. Think of this. Zone 0, 1, and 2 are very similar to Class 1 divisions. Okay? It's very similar. Class 1. Zones 20, 21, and 22, okay? Think of those as Class 2. And the easiest way to remember that is these are going to be a 2 in front of it. 20, 21, and 22. So think of it that way, right? If that helps you. So if you ever get an exam question and they ask you about zone 0, 1, or 2, think, okay, that is still equivalent, still elevated to the issue of like a Class 1 location. It's flammable gases, vapors, things like that. Zones 20, 21, and 22, and immediately in your mind, you got to start thinking, okay, this is combustible dust applications. It's equivalent to Class 2, like Division 2 type of thing. It's definitely a Class 2. So those are the kinds of things to, keep in your mind, just to help life remember certain things, okay? Also, remember the groups for a Class 2 are what? E, F, and G. Whereas the groups of different types of materials for a Class 1 are A, B, C, and D, remember? That type of thing. I know you folks remember because y'all are sharp. Y'all remember those things. All right. Now, what are the wiring methods? You saw the wiring methods that we had before in previous episodes. Go back and watch them if you don't remember. So now we're moving into Class 2. All right. So approved wiring methods in Class 2 Division 1 locations include threaded RMC, same as it was in Class 1. Threaded steel IMC, that was the same in Class 1. Hey, there you go. Or type MI cable with terminations fittings listed for the location. So an MI cable, ain't nobody going to be messing with that. But if you did, you need to make sure that the fittings on the end are rated for the location, and the location be whatever the hazardous location class is, that type of thing. Type MI cable shall be installed and supported in a manner to have tensile stress at the terminations fittings. Again, this is all based on the specific types of fittings that you're going to get anyway for the class location that you're going to be using it in. I don't know many people that use MI today, okay? I just don't. But you can. I mean, there's still people that still swear by it. It's still made. I just would never do it. I'd go with something else. Hazardous location tray, hazardous location MC, air guard by Prismium. I would do something before I messed with an MI cable, mineral insulated. I'm going to go to something else. It's just, to me, it's too much trouble. By the way, they make MI cable with multiple conductors and single conductors as well. Okay, if you didn't know that. If you've ever done it, I've only done it a couple of times. Making up the connections take me forever. You got better at it, but I don't just do it every day. So when I did it, I was like, this is too much work. Okay. And I know guys that do it all the time and they're like, no, Paul, this ain't nothing. Not my thing I want to do. I'm just saying. All right. Now, Class 2 Division 1 fittings and boxes that are going to be used in these locations. Okay. So assuming you have the wiring methods, right? and you're going to be installing the location. And we can go look at the list because that's not an all-inclusive list of all the wiring methods. We can go look at that. But now we're talking about fittings that are used on these wiring methods and connected to these boxes. It says Class 2, Division 1 fittings and boxes shall be provided with threaded bosses for conduit connections or cable terminations and shall be dust tight. Okay, so looking at your fittings, making sure that they're listed for the location. Obviously, if you're using them, you have to use all listed fittings with the listed wiring methods. If this wiring methods, okay. Ari's working with some MI cable right now. Awesome. You love it? Is it the best thing you ever, I just don't like all the pieces to it in the fragility. Is that a word? Is that a word?
Woo, 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 woo. Big dog.
Is fragility? Dude, I made my own word up today. Fragile and agility, fragility. Dude, hashtag fragility. Paul just made up a word. If I had Grammarly connected today, they would probably say, what the hell are you making up words for? All right, anyway. So in this case, fittings and boxes containing taps, joints, or terminal connections, or those that are used in Group E locations, okay, shall be identified for Class 2 locations, okay? Make or break connections, that type of thing. We need to make sure that the equipment, in this case, it's demanding that it's be a Group E type location rating on that piece of equipment. And it has to be a Class 2 location identified product. All right, real quick, let's just go look at it because I said I was going to do it today. I want to look at this one. So just to show you that there are other wiring methods. So this is 502 or 502. Come and say, there ain't no O in 502. It's 502. Okay. So here's Division 1. So here you go. Here's your threaded. That's what we just looked at. There's your MI. And of course, you have restricted industrial establishments. So again, you have to quantify that this is an industrial establishment. So that's why we show it as these are the general ones that don't matter what the establishment is. But if you have a restricted, means restricted access only to persons that are allowed to be there under restriction, things like that, then you have other options. You have MCHL, right? Let's see here. And again, all about the terminals. The fittings have to be rated for it to keep from gas transfer or accumulation of dust transfer. Let's see here. You've got your optical fiber stuff. And here, again, restricted to industrial establishments. We have the instrumentation tray cable application. And then here you go. Here's restricted again. You have TCERHL, those type of things. Again, it's limited to 600 volt applications or less. Okay. And then, of course, here you have type P cable, that type of thing. So you have other applications. And if flexibility is needed, okay, and it is necessary for something like, then you have other types of, you can get some liquid tight flexible connectors that are pre-made, that already have the fittings on each end. They pre-made, they can be used in those locations. Okay, you can use liquid tight flexible metal conduit with listed fittings, okay, as long as you follow the bonding requirements in 502.30, okay, so you got to do a little something extra. Can't allow the liquid tight flexible metal conduit to suffice for any bonding, so you got to do a little something extra, a little something, right, a little something, all right. Interlocked MC that has an overall jacket suitable of polymeric material, so like a PVC jacketed MC, okay, that's an interlock, PVC jacket, that may be acceptable. But again, then you're going to have fittings on the end, and those fittings are not just normal MC fittings. So just because I might say, oh, I can use PVC jacketed MC in there. Not unless you can get a fitting that goes with that. And we're not just talking about a normal wet location type PVC polyolefin coated fitting that is designed for use with a PVC jacketed MC. No. I have to make sure that I have a fitting that's going to be used. It is listed for use in a Class 2 Division 1 location to go and work with my PVC jacketed MC. So I do have some flexibility options, but I'm still going to be limited to the fittings, okay? Because the fittings are designed to not allow the combustible dust or anything to get through, things like that, right? You get what I'm saying. Y'all get what I'm saying, all right? So there you go. So that's the different, and again, there you got other different options depending on it. Again, it's not brain surgery. For those that are taking an exam, it is not brain surgery. When it comes to classified locations and applications, it's basically really just lookups. These aren't calculations for the most part. You don't have to, it's just know where to go. That's it. And know how to break it down. And I have shown you how to start at 500 and how to identify out where you need to be. It's not complicated. And then you just go through the list. Now, here's Class 1 Division 2. You see that I can use any of those wiring methods that we just talked about in 502.10a, right? I can use any of those, right? I can use any of these up here, right? You got to follow the rules, but I can use any of them, right? But then I have other allowances. There's the rigid. There's the dust-tight wireways. EMT can be used, again, with compression-type connectors, okay? I can use regular MC. Again, this is Class 2 Division 2. So as you can see, you have other options. And so that makes a difference for folks. Why we want to go from going from a Class 1 Division 1 to a Division 2 or a Class 2 Division 1. We want to get to it where we can get to a Class 1 Division 2, whether it's air exchanges, whether it's whatever we have to do, because the less restrictions, be honest with you, the cheaper the material, the cheaper the product cost. And if you can get it down to an unclassified location, just a normal location, whether it's air exchanges or whether you use some type of protection system that reduces it down to where it's no longer a classified location, then you can use the regular wiring methods that you would normally use, like EMT and all these other things. That's why we try to do that. Now, there are some areas in a building you just can't do that. I mean, you're just going to have to install the proper wiring method for the hazard that's there, right? Makes sense, right? Yeah, Anthony, static is a huge concern in a lot of these areas. Yes, static will build up on components. That's why bonding is so important, all those type of things, because again, differences of potential, creating an arc. God's sakes, you don't want to create an arc in a location where it's volatile. It might be the last time you do, okay? I'm just saying. And then, of course, you have locations where it's natural gas, or you might have lighter than air types of gas that you won't smell it. You won't see it, okay? And it floats up to the ceiling and stays within 18 inches of the ceiling and accumulates there. You know what? When you're dealing with hazardous classified locations, you don't have to, it's not brain surgery. It's just that you have to take and understand what's being installed in these locations, right? And yeah, you have to, some of these receptacles that have the sleeves on them, or even pin and sleeve, have long sleeves so that the make or break is housed within the enclosure so that it is not subjected to the volatility of the surrounding condition. Very unique devices that have to be used if you're going to be installing them in these areas that are classified. That behooves you to install them in areas that are not classified, because those devices are, like Anthony says, expensive. And dude, if I can do something as a design professional and keep the classified area confined and then locate most of my electrical needs outside of those areas, my price is going to be less, the job's going to be quicker, less scrutiny by the inspections. I'm going to get in and out, okay? But again, the design professionals, engineers, they should be looking at these different things. Sometimes you got to put something where you need to put it. But I always used to look at the design and say, can I put this out here? Can I put this out here? Can I keep this out of that classified location if I can help it? All those type of things. Now, that was what I tried to do. Okay. All right. Next, let's look at a Class 3 location. Class 3 locations, equipment shall be able to function at full rating without developing any surface temperature high enough to cause excessive dehydration or gradual carbonization of accumulated fibers and dust. So basically dry it out, let the heat temperatures get so high that any dust, any of these flyings or fibers that would accumulate on it to get to the point where it gets so hot that it now carbonizes and lowers its ignition point. Okay, so we have to be very careful of the equipment and understand the surface temperature values, because what we don't want is to have anything that could get on it and dry out to the point where it could make it easily ignitable. that type of thing. Okay. Now, 503 deals with that hazardous location for flyings and fibers. Okay. In addition to Article 500 requirements, again, so 500 is where you're going to go to quantify where you need to be. It says wiring and equipment in location designated Class 3 must be installed in accordance with the provisions of 503. Okay. Ignitable fibers and flyings include things like, in case you didn't know, what are you talking about? Are you just talking about wood chips, or what are you talking about? Well, it includes rayon, so it could be in a manufacturing facility, for a clothing manufacturing facility, cotton liners, cotton waste, sisal, I have no idea what that is, henequen, I have no idea what that is, istil, I have no idea what that is, jute, I do know what that is, hemp, there you go, toke it up if you got it, but that's not going to get you high, it's hemp, okay, you know what I'm saying, tow, coca, fiber, whatever, ballade, waste, capoc, whatever, Spanish moss, believe it or not, that's always on an exam question, Spanish moss, excelsior, and other materials or of similar nature. Okay, now this actually is all listed, the different examples of this are listed in 500.5D1, informational note number 2. Some of these, I don't know what they are, but that would be good to let us know what that is. Like, for example, Spanish moss. I don't know what the hell Spanish moss is. So let's go to the trade hawk. I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, I know what it is. I've seen it on trees. Let's see here. Let's go to trade hawk and say, in terms of electrical installations, what is Spanish moss, and why is it mentioned in Article 503 of the 2023 NEC? See how I'm being very descriptive? I want to see what it has to say. I don't know. Let's just use the easiest one, because I kind of know what Spanish moss is, but I'd rather use one that I know to see. Oh, okay. So in context to electrical installation, Spanish moss is mentioned in Article 503 of the NEC, which deals with Class 3 locations. Class 3 locations are areas where easily ignitable fibers or materials producing combustible flyings are present. Spanish moss is specifically mentioned as an example of such material. And it goes into yada, yada, yada. All right. In mentioning Spanish moss, the NEC highlights the importance of recognizing and mitigating risk associated with natural materials that can become airborne. I guess the Spanish moss can float up into the air, right? Right? And poses fire hazards in certain industrial or architectural settings. So here's another example of how we use trade hawk. I'm going to say, but what is Spanish moss? And where might we find it? And so let's do it here. Let's see what the hog has to say. We're working the hog today. Spanish moss is a type of epiphytic plant. I don't know. That is commonly hanging from trees, branches in warm, humid climates. Absolutely. I've actually seen it down in St. Simons in Georgia when I was down there teaching. I've seen it up in the trees. It is not true moss, but rather a flowering plant that belongs to the bromelid family. Spanish moss is characterized by its long grayish strands that drape over the trees, giving a distinctive appearance often associated with the southern United States. You can typically find Spanish mosses in the southeastern United States, particularly in states like Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, South Carolina. It thrives in an environment with high humidity and is commonly seen on live oaks and cypresses. In the context of electrical installation, Spanish moss is mentioned in the NEC because it can produce combustible flyings, which are small particles that can become airborne and pose a fire hazard in certain environments. This is why it's relative. Okay, so it's just giving examples to that. Okay? Dude, trade hog. Dude, I'm just saying. Wow. For the win, trade hog.
Woo, 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 woo. Big
right.
dog.
All right. So let's talk about, so it's there, these levels of fibers and flyings that are easily combustible, they're at all times. They're in the location, wherever you're installing, it's there all the time. If I'm installing a facility outside and I have the Spanish moss, or I'm installing it in a cocoa plant, or I'm installing it somewhere where there's a rayon facility producing cotton fibers that can get airborne, all that, if it's in the air or it's in the environment constantly under normal use, that's a class 3 division 1, okay? Now, class 3 division 2, equipment listed and marked in accordance with 506.9C3 for zones 20, 21, 22. Okay, there you go. Another tip. Zone 0, 1, and 2, class 1. Zone 20, 21, and 22 can have context, okay? Can have context to class 3. So what does that tell me? That tells me zone 0, 1, and 2 is specific to class 1. Zone 20, 21, and 22, I told you the tip earlier to remember the 2, okay? Okay, well, now we've learned that it's a broader. So that means those zones pick up the other types of classified locations. So 0, 1, and 2, class 1. 20, 21, and 22, class 2 and class 3 applications specifically, all right? Learning new stuff as we go. Now, class 3 division 2 locations, okay, of ignitable fibers and flyings are stored or handled other than in manufacturing process, okay? So the manufacturing process obviously is going to be class 3 division 1 because it's going to be producing at any given time. We're talking more about division 2, we're talking more about storage or handling areas, or where they may stack the stuff. So you could have where they produce it and then they take it to a separate part of the room or the building, that there is where they handle it, they store it, and things like that, okay? So that's going to kick it into a different division, okay? And again, bonding and grounding requirements, depending on what you're using, again, dot 30, A and B. Okay, again, remember that dot 30 is our grounding and bonding directive point, the holy grail, if you will, for grounding and bonding within the hazardous locations that's going to end up sending you other places that are more germane in Article 250, right? All right. Wiring methods in Class 3, Division 1 and 2. Okay, so we're kind of rounding it out here. This is the last slide. It says Class 3, Division 1 and 2 luminaires for lighting, for fixed lighting, shall provide enclosures for lamps and lamp holders designed to minimize entrance of fibers and flyings and to prevent the escape of sparks, burning material, or hot metals. Okay, any filaments that burn out, anything that were to burst, they got to be contained within the luminaire itself. Each luminaire shall be clearly marked to show the minimum permitted lamp wattage without exceeding the exposed temperature value of 165 degrees Celsius, 329 degrees Fahrenheit. Very important. So luminaires itself, you don't want to overlamp it, overwatt it, because then it generates more heat, more watts. Watts heat generates more. So it has a threshold. So it's very important in these areas because, again, the restrictions are a lot less than it would be in a class 1 or class 2. This is class 3. A lot less restrictive. But when it comes to the luminaires, the lampage, you want to make sure that the lamping, things like that, you're going to make sure that it's not going to be overlamped and generate more heat than what the luminaire can generate, and could cause a problem for surface heating, which could cause a problem. It could heat up any of these fibers or flyings that land on it, that accumulate on it, that type of thing. Unless the requirements of 503.10b2 are met, Class 3 Division 2 location wiring methods shall comply with 503.10a. Okay, so let's go real quick and end this part up by looking at the different types in 503, because we've looked at all the other ones. So let's go on and see what's different about 503. So here's the wiring method. Okay, so what do we got? Here's your wiring methods. So Class 3 Division 1, all right, rigid intermediate. Notice this right here. First introduction, PVC conduit, okay? So this is still a Class 3 Division 1, but again, it is not the same as what we would have in a Class 1 or Class 2, right? So PVC is introduced in here. RTRC, resin type of conduit. intermediate metal conduit, EMT, dust-tight wireways, MC cable, MI cable with listed terminal fittings. Why you'd want to mess with MI, I don't know, but you do you. Boo. Power limited tray cable, okay? Power limited tray cable with the ER classification. Instrumentation tray cable, same with an ER. ER again means that it can extend out of the run to a piece of equipment or jump from tray to tray with minimum length distances, not more than 6 feet. Okay, that type of thing. Medium voltage, normal tray cable, and regular. This is power and control, by the way. So you have the ER, okay? And you notice there's no restriction. But you do get down here and you say, well, what about that type P, which is amazing to me because type P is like shipboard cable. You could beat that shit with a damn brick. But anyway, it's still only used in restricted industrial establishments as of right now. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Let's see here. All right, and of course with boxes, it says all boxes and fittings have to be dust tight. Okay, so again, you got something that might meet the class 2 division requirement. If they say they're dust tight, then they might still be usable here in this application if they're listed as dust tight. And of course, you have flexible connections here. Again, you can buy flexible connectors that are already dust tight and made for that location. You can use LFMC with listed fittings. You can use liquid-tight flexible non-metallic with listed fittings. Again, you still have your bonding requirements because it is non-metallic, by the way. All right. And you're using it for flexibility, so it usually means it's connecting onto another type of wiring method. So it may have been like a rigid, and now you're connecting this onto it to get to something where you need the flexibility. Okay, so you got to remember, still got bonding. You got to go between one piece to another. Still got to meet the bonding requirements. So you got that. So that's why it makes reference to dot 30. Interlocked MC, okay, having an outer jacket of suitable polymeric material. And uses listed dust tight terminal fittings. So again, not PVC jacketed MC with standard fittings. They have to be dust tight listed. Okay, easy to find. Flexible cord. You have very limited application with cord, but sometimes you do have the flexibility to run cord to certain pieces of equipment. All this type of thing. And then of course you have restricted again for industrial for type P, that type of thing. Okay. All right. And of course, you have non-incentive wiring. We talked about that a couple of days ago. But you're permitted to use a non-incentive field wiring, permitted using any of the wiring methods permitted for unclassified locations. So that would be any of the normal wiring methods you would use every day of the week. It is non-incentive. So what non-incentive means that it does not have the ass to cause a fire or to cause something to auto-ignite. Okay? That's the easiest way I can say it. I know I'll offend somebody by saying that. Paul, why'd you have to say that word? Dude, I'm either going to hell already, or you know what? If a murderer can ask for forgiveness and get in heaven, then I'm okay. I think I'm okay saying the word ass. I think I'm okay. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Okay? All right. All right, reflection. Take a moment. Reflect on the different classifications. Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. Class 1, gases, vapors, flammable liquids, things like that. Class 2, combustible dust, okay? Class 3, combustible fibers or flyings, okay? There's a Division 1, Division 2. Division 1, more restrictive than Division 2. We should always be trying to get from a Division 1 to a Division 2, or from a Division 1, depending on our protective system, we'd like to get it to an unclassified location. Why? Because unclassified locations, we can use any of the wiring methods that we want in Chapter 3. We're restricted once we're in the hazardous classified locations. So we always want to try to get to unclassified so we can use whatever wiring method we want, okay? It's less money, costs less, jobs are more affordable. You're going to win the job probably, all right? So I'm just saying, okay? Thus the reflection. What else do we have to remember? We have options for the wiring methods, and we have flexible options, those type of things. So remember, if you're lost anywhere, we did it. It's a 30,000-foot view because I just don't think hazardous classified locations are as hard as people want it to be. Now, where can it get hard? If you're that guy out there that wants to be the expert on all the different types of flammable materials, you want to learn all the auto ignition points. If you want to learn the different types of materials that combust and what does gas combust at, that's the stuff that you can dig deep into. As an electrician, I don't have to dig that deep, but maybe you want to dig that deep. So get into a hazardous location program. I quote code and I can go look at it. I can teach you code. But I am not the kind of guy you're going to hire to design a hazardous location. I can do it to code. But if I'm being hired to determine whether or not this fuel or this liquid or this thing is of a certain ignition point, no. I'm going to go to the manufacturers. I'm going to ask the people, and here's how I did it years ago. If there's a fuel there, I went to the people that supplied the fuel and I said, give me your product sheets. Let me know the temperature values. Let me know everything about your fuel. Then I would go to another location. If I was getting equipment from a manufacturer that makes the boxes, like Eaton or Cutler Hammer or whoever it was, or Snyder, I'd go, hey, give me everything on this for a location that has to be Class 1, Division 1. Give me all of your equipment, the boxes, the fittings, the wiring, everything that you can give me. And I used to keep a folder with all of the stuff from the different manufacturers, the different products, okay? Because while I may not be initially designing the classified location, I would use that folder to go back and look at it and make sure that the engineer wasn't missing anything, right? And when I was a plans examiner and when I was a head of engineering for the city of Richmond, I had a binder that I would open up and I would just double check them real quickly. I mean, they know what they're doing, but if it was a classified location, I'm looking at it going, okay, yep, there's the seal-offs. Okay, there you go. There's that. Oh, there's a box. Oh, it denotes that box as an explosion-proof box because it has a make or break in it. It's in a Class 1, Division 1 location. Or, okay, boom. Let's see. Okay, it's got a seal. It's got seals, okay, so it's meeting 501.13, or excuse me, .15. It's got the seals. It's got the seals within 18 inches of the box. Okay, good. That's all I had to do. That's all we did reflect on. So I think a lot of people, when you watch these last 4 days, you go, well, Paul, did you go really, really deep into hazardous location? And the reality is, that's as deep as you have to go. You just need to know how to look things up. You need to know if they give you a fuel dispensing pump on an exam question, then you need to look at it and go, okay, all right, well, I just need to know that, okay, well, if I'm looking at a fuel dispensing, you're like, okay, in my mind, you're thinking, where do I go? 514. What locations are we dealing with? 500. I'm dealing with a Class 1, Division 1, right? Class 1, Division 2. I know what I've got. Boom. Now I hit 514 and I look at it and say, okay, fuel dispensing. Okay, 18 inches up, 20 feet out, 18 inches around the dispenser. Got you. Seal-offs, okay? Got it. That's all you have to really do is, like Tom says, just check all the boxes. Now, what I used to do also is funny you should say that, Tom, as I developed checklists, and I don't even have them anymore. I wish I could find them because it's been years since I worked for a municipality. I used to have boxes, checkoff boxes that were laminated because I'm big on that, right? Y'all are in our program. We have those laminated. You can laminate your calculation forms, the different forms for single family, multifamily, and commercial. I used to get laminated my checklists. And I would create checklists. I had one for hazardous locations and I basically just would check for seals, check, and it would have the code reference. Work smarter, not harder. And then I'd keep that in my file when I was doing a hazardous. It was checklist. I'm a big checklist guy. I'm a believer in it, that type of thing. You can create your own. You can ask TradeHog. Let's just see here. Let's go to TradeHog real quick. Let's see here. Let's see. Can you create me a checklist for all the things I need to look for when I am reviewing an electrical plan that is for a hazardous I don't know. Let's see. See what it says, dude. Let's see. Let's look and see what the hog says. I don't know. You also see this right here, guys. This also is a nifty little, when you click this allows you to attach an image. For example, I haven't showed people this before. This is something neat, guys. I want to show you this. So I'm going to attach an image real quick just to show you. Let me just find an image and ask it to tell me what I'm looking at. All right, so I'm attaching an image. This image is a picture of surface-mounted luminaires. And I'll go back and look at the checklist here in a second. But I'm going to ask, I'm going to say, can you tell me more about this image? This is a neat feature with TradeHog, guys. Now watch. I attach the image. Try here. You can't see it, but I'll just do it. I'm just playing around with the hog here. Oops. All right. Didn't go. Got to click it. It didn't accept it. All right. So the image shown is a before and after comparison of a lighting fixture upgrade. Before, the left side features a traditional dome-shaped ceiling light fixture with a frosted glass cover and metal trim. This style is common in many homes, provided a softer, diffused light. After, the light on the right displays a modern flush-mounted LED. Dude, this was just a picture. That's it. Let me show you another one. Let's see here. I'm going to show, let's see here. I'm going to find, let me see if I can find a picture. Okay, a picture that I'm attaching here is showing the process of EV charging. It shows 4 different things, from the charging to the charger to everything. It's just a collection. I'm going to ask it to explain this image. Okay. Now, this could also be you taking a picture of the nameplate on a piece of equipment. You could use it to take a picture and ask it something about a nameplate that's in a panel. You could take a picture. You got to do a picture. You can't upload a document yet, but you could take a picture of instructions in a manual or something and use the picture, and it can decipher it. It'll try to do it. Okay, so it's not going to work every time, but let's see here. So and remember what I uploaded was a picture that shows the steps in an EV charging. I think that's what it was. Okay, let's see what it shows. Oh, I got to click it. Sorry. Many people don't even know we have this feature. It's looking at it. It's thinking. All right, look what it says. The image explains how to, oh, that's right, excuse me. I'm sorry, the picture was interlock. How to go from a panel to use an interlock kit in order to do a generator, a portable generator for a whole house, how to use an interlock and how to do it. It showed the different pictures from the panel to the interlock kit to all that kind of stuff. So here's what it says. It showed utility power. It shows the home generator panel. It shows the interlock kit. Close up the interlock kit, shows the installation of it, that type of thing, all this kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to say, can you, watch this, can you show me, or can you provide me the NEC 2020, hold on, let me do this way. The 2023 NEC code references based on the image. All right, let's just see what it does. See how I'm feeding it? Check this out, guys. Really. All right. NEC, it's talking about transfer equipment. That's the 702. It's talking about the interlock kit, 702.6, transfer. It's talking about the generator, 445, the connections. Okay, it's talking about backfed prevention. That's the 705, interconnected systems. Okay, talks about the receptacle in 406, where the location is based on the illustration. Guys, can you not see how the TradeHog could save your day out in the field? That, my friends, was an amazing demonstration of TradeHawk. And we're making it better and better every day. And how is this different from ChatGPT? You saw how ours was more specific to code references. That's the difference. All right, let's spin this wheel. Let's give away some goodness or get you on the drawing. That was a great example of TradeHawk. Coming to Rob Nickman. Rob Nickman. All right, I know it moved, Nickman, but I know who you are, Rob. So you get a wire waffle, even though it's scrolling now. Doesn't matter. You were there first, Rob Nickman. Okay, so you're going to get a wire waffle. Send me your address so we can send it to you. You are in the drawing for conductor length card. All right, congratulations on that. You also won a wire waffle. Send me your address so I can send you a wire waffle. Congratulations. I have a limited number of these wire waffles, so hopefully I haven't given away all of them by yet. They're ready. Some of them are ready to go out. They're already boxed up. We just haven't gone out yet. Look at that! Now, you're in the drawing for the Trade Hog. We just showed what the hog can do. All right, so you're in the drawing for the Trade Hog. And oh, by the way, we have also incorporated the new X Gronk or Gronk, whatever it's called. There are pieces of it that we have incorporated into the hog. We don't like it 100%, but we have incorporated certain pieces in there with our own unique type of structure and how we do the prompts. So again, it's just getting smarter and smarter. It really is. Is it 100% foolproof all the time? No, nothing is. Even experts are wrong from time to time. But at the end of the day, great resource. All right, last drawing for the day. We can get out of here. I've kept y'all too long, but I swore I was going to finish that hazardous location today. All right, David Carter, send us your address so we can send you out a wire waffle. For those that don't know what a wire waffle is, this wire waffle allows you to take up to 16, 14 twos or 12 twos through a single 2.5 or 2.5, however you like to flavor it, KO in your panel. And you can take them all through one. And it gets around the violation in 312.5C, which they love to do out in Arizona. Get you around that. It is listed, UL listing on it, perfectly fine. It is not considered bundling, those type of things. So again, it allows you to get around the 312.5 issue that people have been crying about for years. Okay. All right, folks. Thank you all for joining me today. Hopefully you got something out of it. Again, I'm sorry. I kind of rushed hazardous locations. I had a lot of drop off. We have less people following today. Not as many people stayed here. So I get it. I was probably very generic today. But hopefully you got something out of it, and you'll join us for Monday, where we'll have another coffee hour, special edition, Memorial Day edition. And we will have a special day, a thank you and shout out to all of our soldiers and everything like that. So enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Share it with family. Until next time, folks, stay safe. God bless, and we'll catch you on an upcoming episode of Coffee Hour. Oh, by the way, you can watch the replay today at 5. Peace. know daggone well that it's Friday, and I waited for some of you just to take off. But we're going to spin again. Let's go. Another giveaway. Let's go. All you people that are so quickly to click away. Just saying. I think you already have, but you're in the line for the promo card. Adam, I think we agreed to send you one anyway, didn't we? I have to go back and look, and Jeff's handling that. But anyway, we got you for an NFC promo card. For those that don't know what they are, these can be reprogrammed to anything you want them to be. Tap a card, tap a phone. Amazing. And they're thick. That type of good. All right. Another drawing. Let's go. It's Friday. Pays to hang around. Pays to hang around. There we go right there, Rob. There you go. Melting Toast. Rob Nickman is going to be for the Trade Hog. All right. Last one I'm going to spin. This one, I don't have to spin the wheel. Whoever wins this one is going to get 12 months of access to Trade Hog. Ready? Whoever wins, no drawing. Whoever wins is going to get 12 months access. You'll email us, get us your information, and we'll get you hooked up with the Trade Hog. But here you go. Let's do it. Whoever wins, special, instant win, Trade Hog. 12-month access to our light version of the Trade Hog. Let's go. Who's going to win it? Oh, wait a minute. Screw that. There you go. All right. So whoever wins is going to get 12 months instantly, or not really instantly. We still got to set you up. But let's go. Ready? Trade Hog. We're going to give you the light version, 12-month access. Let's go. And that's expensive for many people, right? $9.95 a month. We're going to give you 12 months. Ready? 12 months instantly. Let's go. Let's go. Who's going to win? Let's go. That is a $120 value. Let's go. Rob Nickman. Boy, you're on a roll there, Rob, because you got the drawing for the basic and you just won the 12 months. So Rob, reach out to us. We'll get all your information. Email us, go paulabernathy.com. Get us all your information, Rob. We will get you set up for Trade Hog. All right, folks, I am not coming back on this one. God bless. Till next time, stay safe. We'll catch you on the next episode of Coffee Hour Monday. Let's go. Maybe I'll have some more of those instant giveaways. Who knows?